If you're a subscriber, you might know us for our high-performance exhaust work, our luxury and exotic repair, or maybe the performance work we do with classics and muscle cars. But today I've got a real oddball classic that highlights exactly the wide range of cars that Fluid Motor Union sees. A 1980 Cadillac Eldorado Biarritz with the front-wheel drive V8. Yes, you heard that right. With only 145 horsepower, this car is a testament to how far automotive engineering has come, or hasn't. I'm OJ Lopez, technician and the owner here at Fluid Motor Union in Naperville. And when I saw this clean example come into the shop with some significant issues, I thought it was worth a closer look. This car isn't just a piece of automotive history. It's a cherished family heirloom that has seen decades of memories and milestones. It's a symbol of a bygone era where luxury was defined by elegance and class. The owner, having inherited from his late mother, is determined to keep the beloved classic running, not just for the sake of preservation, but as a tribute to his mom's legacy and the countless drives they shared. This Eldorado, with its plush interior and unmistakable Cadillac charm, is a reminder of the golden age of American luxury cars. At Fluid Motor Union, we're honored to breathe new life into this nostalgic gem, ensuring it continues to be a source of pride and joy for the family for many years to come. But before we do that, I need you to hit the like button, and if you like unique and interesting automotive content, you need to be subscribed. And be sure to tell us in the comments what vehicle you're nostalgic for and why. For those of you that don't know, the Cadillac Eldorado was once the pinnacle of luxury and prestige. However, by the time the 1980s rolled around, it was like Cadillac tried to cram too much luxury into a single car. The result was a massive vehicle with an underpowered engine that guzzled fuel like there was no tomorrow. Look at this thing. What's it even here for, man?
Trunk isn't working. Like it won't latch and it won't soft close.
Soft close?
They probably didn't call it soft close back then, but
it's an actual complaint.
yeah, the cruise control doesn't work.
Cruise control, okay.
Little features that aren't perfect on this perfect car.
This is actually pretty nice. This doesn't look too bad. As far as dust goes, and just grime, generally.
Oh, and 75,000 miles, like it's really clean for that mileage.
The Eldorado might look like a tank, but it's only got a 368 cubic inch engine under the hood. And compared to its 500 cubic inch predecessor that was also front wheel drive, it's barely enough to scare your neighbor's lawnmower. This particular model shed nearly a half ton from its predecessor, yet remained body on frame for superior isolation from road noise. It also boasted four-wheel disc brakes and a fully independent suspension. Quite the upgrade from the boat handling of the earlier models, but let's not get too excited. It's still a front-wheel drive V8, and that configuration is about as logical as a screen door on a submarine. And with an unexpectedly low 75,000 miles, this vehicle's been on a few trips to and from the grocery store. All right, let's check it out underneath. It doesn't look too bad though.
All these old engines use cork gaskets and they just shrink over time.
Look at this starter too. They were all big, but
Yeah, that probably never goes bad.
oh, those axles. Look how heavy duty the axles are, but then the intermediate shaft coming out of the diff. Although it looks modular.
Yeah, but that's probably
like
solid, so it's probably all right.
Got a little trans leak at the shift cable here. See that red drop? Little ATF coming down.
It's like it's leaky, but like it's still clean and leaky. It's not all covered in dirt and grime. Like what roads does this guy drive on where there's no dirt on them?
This transmission is impressive.
Maybe he keeps coming under here and wiping it down. Torsion bars, probably to make room for the axles.
Is this a catalytic converter?
Looks like it.
How is it not falling apart? To me, that's more amazing than anything. This thing should be rusted to pieces. I'd say there's probably some room for improvement on this exhaust, but who knows, that's probably another day. What I really like about this thing is it's still a full frame car, but it's front wheel drive. So the frame can come down off of the body and you'd have a front wheel drive frame and vehicle. It's all mild steel, and it's not falling apart. Look, it's got the level sensor for the air shocks. There's still some zinc coating on it.
Yeah.
Even the connectors are clean for the electrical. Why is this thing in such good shape? One of my favorite features on Cadillacs is the gas fill goes through the license plate. I don't know if I could flip it here. I got it, look. So a big thing you want to watch out for on these things, obviously rust. There's a reason you don't see a lot of these on the road. Very hard to take care of rust-wise. While there is a lot of undercoating on these things, there isn't a thick amount, and that tends to have crevices that get water up inside them, and very quickly these things would rust out and just fall to pieces, the body, the frame. So these things filled up the junkyard pretty quickly, and seeing something in this condition is pretty amazing. So these are air bags, air shocks. It still has a spring, but in the shock, it has a little area, and it's really not meant to really control the level of the car. The spring is doing most of that. It's more or less adding a bit of stiffness and load control if you had the trunk loaded up to just keep the height where it should be at. We've got a bar on this side, which I assume is to just add a little bit of torsional rigidity to where the engine's mounted to counteract that frame twist that the front-wheel drive engine would have up here. Doesn't do much, but it probably does a little something enough to warrant them putting it in the first place. You got a little cartridge, spin-on cartridge for the fuel filter here. Very serviceable. I like that touch. I wish they still did that. They don't. Most of them are in line or now in the tank. But it'd be nice if we went back to the spin-on cartridge on and off. Even though gasoline's gotten way better, it's still good to change out fuel filters and not giving people the option like a lot of modern cars do. Just, I don't know. I don't think that's the right way to go about things. Cadillac was quite the innovator with their powertrains back then, offering everything from a gasoline V8 to a diesel V8 and even a gasoline V6. The most infamous of these being the V8 6.4, an early attempt at cylinder deactivation. It was supposed to improve fuel efficiency by 15%, but in reality it was about as reliable as a chocolate teapot. If it didn't work, disconnecting a single wire turned it into a regular V8. The high-technology 4.1 V8 earned the nickname milkshake motor for its tendencies to mix coolant and oil to a delightful sludge. But if you keep up with the maintenance and drop a few anti-leak tablets into the cooling system, you might avoid being stranded on the side of the road. Wow. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, like there's paint still on the engine.
Seemed like it was running pretty well too. What do you say we check this thing out?
Good. Yeah, 110 horsepower, 8-cylinder.
Yeah, I think, what is this? Is this the 368 V8? I think that's what this is.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Which is 145 horsepower. Amazing.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Better than I thought.
Look at this compressor. That is neat. And fuel injection. What is this, 80? And Cadillac was using fuel injection?
Yeah, why is everything so clean?
I think this actually was probably one of the better motors too to have, even though they didn't really use it in a bunch of different things. They had a diesel V8, and then they had a V8 with, it was cylinder deactivation.
Huh?
Yeah, it was called the V864, and it used like, it would just cut the ignition, but it was really problematic and would just mess up all the time, so people would just disconnect it.
Yeah, I probably would too.
And this pump is for what, the vacuum actuated
It's a
things?
nice car.
For the rear air suspension. Amazing. Look at the gauge of that line too. It's got the brake.
Probably never have to replace this pump though.
I doubt it ever breaks. They don't make them like they used to. And it's got like a little drive shaft that goes back to the front differential. So everything's right here. Meaning what, if you have an oil pan leak or something, you got to drop the whole engine or pull the whole engine out, because this is a frame. So you'd have to pull the whole engine out of this thing to do any sort of bottom end service work. And trans, more than likely. Styling-wise, the Eldorado remained unmistakably Cadillac. The massive front grille and crisp side profile were complemented by optional wire wheels and white wall tires. This Biarritz model even featured a stainless steel roof, which was a throwback to the opulent Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham of the 1950s. Inside, you had your choice of leather cloth interiors, heavily buttoned, tuft, or tuck and rolled upholstery, and a dashboard that was more about style than functionality. So why should anyone care about this 1980 Eldorado Biarritz? Well, today's so-called premium vehicles are dull in comparison. They all look like lifted running shoes and are painted in colors so boring they make beige look exciting. In contrast, this Eldorado is a riot of personality with its desert sand, fire mist paint, and antique tan saddle button tough leather. It's unapologetically brash and luxurious, a true relic of a bygone era. This car combined 1980s tech with traditional Cadillac luxury. The fully independent suspension, digital fuel injection, automatic overdrive, and trip computer were state of the art at the time. Despite its quirks, the 1979 through 1985 Eldorado still lives up to its name, the Gilded One. I like how they could get away with putting all this chrome on the car, but then they're just like, oh, let's add stainless steel too, just right on the top. 4-way power seats, 1980.
Yeah, I wonder how big these seat motors are.
So you know the Sentinel here? That was like the first rendition of automatic lights.
Automatic climate control.
Switch your mirrors here. This had a lot of neat features that cars still have. Just old looking.
But this could telescope.
Just in case you wanted really close to your face. I don't know what I'm pressing. Oh, that's a light.
Lights,
Oh, I'm not touching that. It's gonna go back once and then not open again. Look how much room by not having a trans tunnel down here. It's got enough room for a book. Service information.
Put my foot there.
You got your smoker's tray. This thing's crazy. The classic trunk release in the glove box. I remember that as a kid.
Yeah, that's an old car thing.
Definitely not a feature anymore. I miss that. The big button in the glove box. Check this out. Did you hear this yet?
That's really pleasant. Nice ding.
Look at the back doors, how to get out. Show them that.
For the rear passengers.
2 door handles. That's luxury. That is a big trunk. And it's brown. There's no brown carpeting in the rest of the car, but the trunk's brown.
They figured you'd get it dirty, so they couldn't have a tan.
It's actually pretty smart if you think about it. This little housing encases the latch and the pull down. So this is extended right now, and this needs to go a little bit further down when the trunk is latched. So we got to take a look at that. What do you think's going on in there?
Probably the motor or the gear itself. Like, even though it's 1980, they still use the plastic gear inside there. So it's kind of common that those just dry up and break. We'll get it apart, get the motor off, and see what's going on there.
Good luck finding the gear if it's broken, though. I doubt they stock that at any Cadillac dealerships anymore. They'd probably laugh at you if you called asking for it. So if you're considering buying an Eldorado from this era, I'd watch out for the high-tech 4100 V8. It can be fragile, so check for the maintenance records and ensure the car runs smoothly. And don't expect rapid accelerations from any of the engines. This car is all about smooth cruising. Other powertrain options like the 5.7-liter gasoline V8 or the V8 6.4 might be more robust. And if you're feeling adventurous, there's always the diesel option that might require some upgrades to be reliable. So we got a list of things that we see wrong, what we're going to recommend to the customer, some services. Probably tell them to hold off. We'll clean off the oil and see how bad the leak is coming up here. But other than their little concerns with a lot of the little functions of the car, I don't really see anything major stopping this thing in the near future. So we'll make some recommendations on maintenance and other items and fix little things here and there. But I don't think it needs too much right now. It's got 145 horsepower. It's front wheel drive. Like, it's not cool at all, you know, when you think about it in those terms. But the fact that it's so clean, it's the definition of an unappreciated survivor, right?
Yeah.
It's something that most people would be like, oh, those cars weren't cool, they weren't fast, but someone taking the time to keep this thing, the chrome in its condition, the engine as clean as it is, makes the car cool. Makes the car where if you bring it to a car show and someone like me who's kind of seen everything in all sorts of conditions, classic cars, luxury cars, exotics, things like that, seeing something like this where you know that these cars fell apart, you know that these cars had their issues, but someone took the time to keep this thing clean, under the hood, on the frame, the exterior, the paint, everything else, like that represents a lot of time and effort, and that time and effort instantly makes the car cool again. So the next time someone makes fun of your 1980 Cadillac Eldorado Barretts, just remember, they're probably jealous. This car offers a driving experience that cocoons you from the vulgarities of aggressive motoring. Pure bliss in a world that's forgotten what true luxury looks like. Thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more unique and interesting automotive content. See you next time.